ready for the second half of chat number, I think it's 352. And if you are watching these later, or if you need to go back and watch these on YouTube, that means there are 351 other chats to go back and watch. We are going to be making just a little bit of food, or talking, not really much, but I'm going to go ahead and put the apron on. This is how you know to get to the second half. If you were watching these on YouTube, and again, that's just youtube.com, search If You Have an Egg, and that way you know. If you just want to skip to the second half, you know to go to the apron. Casey will be posting this later. She'll post this on YouTube later, but these always automatically post on Facebook, here in the Facebook, on the Facebook page. So as soon as the Super Bowl's over, you can get cracking. You can go ahead and start watching this. Okay, first thing we're going to do, get the hair out of the way, just because we're making a teeny tiny bit of food. Not much food, and it's food I'm going to eat, but still. Okay, we're going to get that out of the way. This is the second half of chat number 352, and we have been talking about ways to, like, re-fall in love again, rekindle, make yourself excited about foods, you know, foods, and I call them ride or die foods, and they might be Weight Watchers ride or die foods, like things, like, again, for me, Greek yogurt, already flavored Greek yogurt, certain fruits and vegetables, peanut butter cups. We're going to talk about that more in the second half. The first thing I'm going to do is I have a mystery item to go in the air fryer over here. I'm not going to tell you what it is. Hold on. Sorry, this is, sorry, this is sitting on a little piece of tile, and it was like sliding across the countertop. Okay, so this mystery item is going to go in at 400 degrees. And I don't think it's gonna take 10 minutes, but I put it on there for 10 minutes. So somebody tell me when it has been 5 minutes and I will check it. Okay, and that is a mystery food for almost the end of the second half. But again, we are revisiting favorite foods, how to get excited again about our go-to foods, whether it's a Weight Watchers super duper point friendly food, or if it's something that you enjoyed pre-Weight Watchers that you want to be back on your menu. So I told you in the first half of tonight's chat, I told you to hang tight through this portion before doing your homework. So again, if you already knew what you were going to do for your homework, great, fantastic. If you didn't, kind of hang tight, hang in there through the second half, and I think you'll have lots of ideas when we get through. So if you were right with me all the way and you already did it, again, fantastic. But if most of you are like me, and in the past you had foods that you were wondering, how am I going to include these? How in the world am I going to include these foods that were never not on my mind, by my side? All right. So how are you going to include those? Okay, so those are your ride or die foods. First one for me, peanut butter. Cannot tell you how many times it was quite common, almost normal for me to get home from school, open a jar of peanut butter, and just grab a spoonful and just walk around the house and eat it. And then another one. And then sometimes another one. I mean, this was like a daily occurrence. Did you know that 4 regular spoonfuls, so 4 tablespoons, I'm not talking a big, like what I was getting, a big honking, heaping spoonful and just walking around the house eating it, but 4 tablespoons of real peanut butter is 13 plus points. So I was consuming more than 13 points every day. That was fine as long as I was a teenager and in high school and moving more than any human probably should. But as I got older and as I had Casey and then started doing more sedentary things, all of a sudden 4 spoonfuls of peanut butter wasn't going to get it. So at first I was like, you cannot have peanut butter. You cannot control yourself around peanut butter. Okay, but now, because I know that's a ride or die, that I can't live without it. I cannot live without peanut butter. So now I have given myself 2 options for enjoying peanut butter. The first one is I use something like PB2. This happens to be PB2 Crunchy, which I'm dying to open. I haven't needed to open it yet. I just got my flavored yogurt that would be good with peanut butter in it. But I can use PB2 or some other kind of nut powder. I've used almond powder, things like that. I use it in yogurt, on bananas. Like you just slice up some bananas, pour some of this in a Ziploc baggie, shake it up. It's really good like that. It works well with apple slices for a bit of a peanut butter taste. But I personally am not a fan of reconstituting this with water, okay? And we're going to talk about potato chips in a minute, Carol Lou. I'm just not a fan of reconstituting it with water. You might be. If you are, great, fantastic. But that's how I use it. So if I just need a little bit of a peanut buttery flavor fix, that's my option 1. My option 2, I already showed you this a few minutes ago, is Jif to go. I have these everywhere. I keep them on hand at all times. I do have some in the drawer back here at work. I have some in Casey's house, and I have some in the camper. I keep them on hand at all times. And when I need peanut butter, I can either choose to split one of these with somebody. So like if we're like at Disney, or if we're somewhere like the swimming pool, or if we're somewhere where I could split one of these with somebody, I can be happy with half of one of these and like a banana or putting it on a sandwich or something like that. But if I want the entire thing all to myself, this is 8 points. So this entire thing is 8 points. But before you pass out, it's 8 points. Okay, it's just 8 points. It's 8 points. But I'm only gonna open one. So I'll open one of these, and if I'm gonna eat it by myself, I will lick every nook and cranny in here and get all of that out, but it's still 8 points, and I will not open another one. Okay, I can stop. I can stop at the 1. So even if I just spent 8 points on peanut butter, that's 8 points. I didn't keep spooning and licking and spooning and licking and spooning and licking for 13, 16, 18, whatever, you know, for however many points. Okay, so that's how I personally handle peanut butter. So it's still one of my ride or dies, but I have figured out how to handle it. I am not allowed to be with an open jar of peanut butter, period, ever, because I will revert back to, even if I try to measure it, it'll get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. Okay, next one is some kind of hard candy like Jolly Ranchers or Lifesavers. So like here are Lifesavers. These are not mine, so I'm not at risk of eating them because they do not belong to me. I borrowed them for the chat, but I'm not at risk of eating these. These are some kind of mints, just hard candy, you know, in particular Jolly Ranchers. So do you know how many pieces of hard candy are in a serving? I never did. A serving to me was as many as I could unwrap and eat before I moved on to the next thing. And the next thing was whatever caught my attention the next time. It's been 5 minutes and no one said anything. Come on, guys. Okay, hold on. Okay, I'm gonna let that go for another 5 minutes. So, hard candy, again, the amount in a serving was however many I was willing to unwrap and eat until whatever the next thing was that got my attention. So option 1, there are sugar-free versions of most of the hard candy that I was eating, but those give me tummy trouble. I don't know about you, but things that have aspartame and have some of these other, you know, really artificial sweetenery things kind of give me tummy trouble, and especially if I eat very many of them. So even though they're much lower in points, but I try to limit the sugar-free versions of them to times when someone shares one with me. So like if we're at Weight Watchers and Karen hands me one sugar-free candy, I will accept it. If we're at church and I get one sugar-free candy, that's fine, but I don't keep the sugar-free ones around just because I will eat enough to make myself sick. Okay. Option 2 is frozen grapes with some covered in some kind of drink mix powder. So Crystal Light, there are several different drink powders that are like Skittle flavored or lots of different flavors. I personally do like Crystal Light on there. It's fantastic for satisfying that candy urge. And since the grapes, so you're gonna put them on grapes. You're gonna take grapes, wash them, put them in some kind of a container, a zippered bag, something like that, but leave them just a tiny bit damp, and then pour out some of the powdered drink mix on there, onto the barely damp grapes, shake it up, and then freeze them. So frozen grapes, I call them frozen candy grapes, with some kind of 0 point drink mix. It gives me that little sweet, you know, whatever that I want. Since they're frozen, they're hard about, Since they're frozen, they're firm like a piece of hard candy, because I'm bad about chewing up hard candy too. And also because they're frozen, it takes a minute to eat them. So my frozen candy grapes recipe is already up on IfYouHaveAnEgg.com. So after the chat and after the Super Bowl, which I'm impressed with how many of you all are here, instead of watching Taylor Swift's boyfriend play tonight. Don't even know which team he plays for. But that recipe is already up on IfYouHaveAnEgg.com. It's IfYouHaveAnEgg, IfYouHaveAnEgg.com. And you just search, if you search grapes, it's going to come up. So frozen candied grapes, excellent for getting rid of that kind of needed some hard candy, you know, kind of sweet tooth. And again, since they're frozen, it takes a minute to eat them. Okay, sliced bread or buns. Oh wait, hold on a second. Ooh, Anna says, I don't know if I should tell you, but peanut butter on frozen grapes, so good. It tastes like a PB&J. So Anna, have you ever tried doing, thank you Debbie, Anna, have you ever tried doing this with the frozen grapes, but with something like this? Does that work? Is that gonna make me super happy? Let me know. Tell me in the comments below. I'm interested to see now, and I happen to have some grapes in the refrigerator that I could try that on in the next couple of days. Okay, the next thing is sliced bread or buns. So I'm pretty good at avoiding the bread basket at a restaurant. You know, I mean, unless it's something really, 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 really good, like a Red Lobster Cheddar Bay biscuit or something like that. And we really don't go, like John and I just don't go to any places anymore that bring, does anybody even do it? You know, a bread basket at the restaurant. I don't know. I don't see that happening, you know, very often. But sometimes I just want a sandwich. Okay. I don't know if y'all are like that or not, but there are days that I'm just like, I just want a sandwich. Okay. So the sliced bread that I always used to keep on hand was 2 points for one slice. Okay. You know, not terrible, but I never stopped at one slice. I am a 2-slice bread sandwich girl. Okay. 2 slices. So that automatically meant 4 points. And some kinds of bread, you know, that old crazy Weight Watchers math, some kinds of bread, even though it's 2 points for one slice, some of them 2 points or 2 slices is not 4, it's 5 points. Okay. And I was running into that a lot. So 2 options. I have purchased and tried some sliced bread that is 1 point per slice. Gotta tell you, haven't found a brand that I'm super, super wild about unless it's toasted. The Nature's Own bread that I buy is 1 point per. Yeah, okay, yeah. And Sarah said the Nature's Own whole wheat is 1 point each. That one's pretty good. But again, I cannot stop myself at just one slice. So I try to do 1 point per, you know, bread that's 1 point per slice. But then 2 slices is 3 points. Okay, 2 slices is 3 points. Ooh, okay. I'm gonna let that sit until it's turn. But anyway, so yeah, so with you know, that one, the kind I buy is one of those that falls into that weird Weight Watchers math thing of 1 slice is 1 point, 2 slices are 3 points instead of 2 points. So instead, we do use these a lot. Casey uses these to make quesadillas for the girls. The La Banderita carb counter flour tortillas, because this size tortilla is 1 point. And even if you use the little street taco size, I think you can have 3 of them for 1 point. But we use these for sandwiches. I use these for, and this is 1 point, I use these as a peanut butter roll up. So if I do one of these with a banana in it and half of one of the Jif to go, then I've got 1 point for the tortilla, 4 points for the half of the Jif to go, and 0 for the banana, and I have 5 points for that whole thing. We do that frequently. Hot dogs are great rolled up in this. Again, banana and peanut butter roll-ups, spiral sandwiches, you know, like roll up your sandwich stuff and then slice it, all kinds of things. Yeah, Melissa says she uses these for everything, and Sarah uses St. Joseph's 1 point pitas. Yeah. Oh, she says, but they are paper dry. These are not. I mean, this tastes like a tortilla. This is what a tortilla is supposed to taste like. Don't you think, Melissa? But again, Casey uses these and makes cheese quesadillas for the girls. And Melissa said, let me think, when were we headed home? I think we were headed home from Walmart getting her the last of her birthday stuff. And she said, you know, Mom was trying to do, Hurley says good as a pizza. Her mother, so Casey, was trying to get them something to, get them something ready to eat. And I said, hey, Mom wants to know if you want a cheese quesadilla. And she goes, my mom makes the best cheese quesadillas. And I went, yeah, okay, sure. Anyway, it's one of these and some shredded cheese heated up. Anyway, that is an excellent solution. Something like that is an excellent solution. If you're like me and you're just like, you know, I'm just using the bread to hold the stuff together, you know, but you're really not going to make like a cucumber is the bread sandwich or something like that. Those are a great idea. Okay, next thing. Just realized I did not get it out of the refrigerator. Hold on a second. I'll just quickly get it out and show you. so the next thing is milk. And I'm not talking about milk to go on your cereal. I'm not talking about milk to make things with. I'm not, because I do a lot of plant-based milk, like almond milk or oat milk or things like that for other things. Yeah, I'm not going to blow Casey's cover. Let's see. Oh wait, Melissa says she does cinnamon and Splenda with spray butter. Oh yeah, for a sweet treat on the tortillas. Yes, exactly. But okay, so milk. And again, I'm not talking about. I do use a lot of plant-based milks for cooking. For making oatmeal, for, you know, adding to cereal, things like that. But I don't just drink them. So I know it seems like it's a crazy thing to be on my list. Maybe there's somebody else out there that's like me, but I could literally, not kidding, I could drink a half a glass of milk in a sitting. I could do it. So when I was pregnant with Casey, John would call ahead and tell people, hey, you might want to hide your milk. You know, hide your milk. I'm headed that way with Kelly because I could drink all that they had. And when I was pregnant, no one was going to deny me milk. Okay, they would just keep bringing it to me. So in order to be able to keep that on my list, yes, and Debbie, you're moving ahead. So in order to be able to keep that on my list, option 1 is I started drinking fat-free skim milk, which is pretty good around here, but 8 ounces, which is a cup, is 3 points. Or as Debbie just alluded to, Fairlife fat-free milk, which is skim milk, but they call it fat-free. Fairlife fat-free milk, you get 8 ounces or a cup for 2 points. For 2 points, and it is delicious. It's absolutely delicious. It is not watered down. Like we have a dairy company here in town called Weigel's, and Weigel's they have outside of Fairlife, they have the best skim milk, and it's called Skim Delight. It still though is a little watery. Fairlife is double filtered. Let's see, it's ultra filtered. It has more protein. It's got 13 grams of protein as opposed to 8 grams in regular milk. It only has 6 grams of sugar as opposed to 12 in regular milk, and it has more calcium, and it has no lactose. So if you want to be able to have more milk for the same number of points as skim milk, and it is free of lactose. So something about that double filtration, that ultra filtered, makes it less, 50% less sugar, more than 50% more protein, no artificial growth hormones, lactose free. I highly recommend it. Okay, so milk. That is how I keep milk on my ride or die list. So I have to have milk. Okay, potato chips. We're going to move on to potato chips. Why do you think I needed all that milk? It was from my potato chips. Who else? Is there anybody else here tonight? Anybody else here that drinks milk while they're eating potato chips? I just need to know. I need to know if it's just me, because it is a long term. I'm talking since I can remember. So back to like 12 years old. Let's see, 12, 22, 32, 42, 52, so 44-year thing for me is to sit and eat potato. Oh, great. Phyllis says it's just me. Really? To eat potato chips with milk. I mean, I'm serious. I mean, an obsession. Okay, so that's why I needed all the milk. Oh, yeah. Ann says milk and Doritos. Totally. Thank you, Ann. Thanks. Boom. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so that's why I needed all the milk. That's why I needed all the milk, was for all these potato chips that I was eating. Okay. Ooh, and Mary says vanilla ice cream and potato chips. Yum. Okay. I don't need to know that. Ooh, I don't need to know that. I don't need a new obsession. So an open bag for me, an open bag of potato chips is an empty bag. It does not matter if it is an individual bag, so the little ones like you would get like at a sandwich shop or something, or if it's a family size of Doritos. It does not matter how big the bag is. If it's open, it's gone. And my only regret is that I am confident. So every time I eat a little bag or a giant bag or anything in between, my only regret is that I'm confident that I would have finally been happy if there had just been one more handful. Okay. Oh, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if I eat a little bit or a lot. Oh man, I was getting ready to be happy. I was getting ready to be satisfied if there had just been one more handful of potato chips. Okay, so opening a full-size bag and separating it into individual containers also does not work for me. It works for a lot of you all, and it works for me on some things, but not with potato chips. I'm serious, I'll just eat all of them. So once that bag is open, I will eat all of them. So option 1 for me is one of those already pre-packaged little serving, like the potato chip company made a little one of those little pre-packaged bags like you would get at a sandwich shop, like at Firehouse Subs or Subway or something like that. I can be happy with that, okay? Because I'm not going to go back up and go, I'll take 7 more of those little bags, okay? I can be happy with that little bag. But option 2, and I cannot explain why it works for me. I cannot explain why this one works for me, but baked chips, like these are baked Cheetos, or pretzels. Baked chips or pretzels do not have that same effect on me. I don't know why. I'm sure there's some psychological, chemical, I don't know, there's something, but they don't have that same effect on me. Do you see this grip stick right here? So like this bag closing thing right here, there's still there's still chips, there's still Cheetos in this bag, okay? So unlike regular potato chips, I opened this, I portioned out 1 serving into a little bowl and enjoyed them, and I was able to close the bag back up again, and I'm cool until the next time I want chips, okay? Don't know why that works for me. It works for me. Pretzels work the same way for me. I can eat a serving of pretzels and be happy and not have to consume the entire rest of the bag. And in case you didn't know the math, 21 regular Cheetos is 5 points. 34 baked Cheetos, and I think baked Cheetos taste better, but anyway, 34 baked Cheetos are only 4 points. So I don't know this would work for anybody else. This is for my ride or die list. But baked chips or pretzels, it works for me. Some of y'all I know though can do the portion out in a bag, and I'm so proud of you if that works for you. It does not work for me. Okay, the next one is ice cream. Woo, that one's a toughie. We were not, it does have some emotional baggage with it. So we were not allowed to keep ice cream at home, period. We didn't keep ice cream. We didn't keep, we thought we were going wild if we had Kool-Aid. But we were not allowed to keep ice cream at home when I was growing up. My dad was a traveling salesperson. He was never home, but when he was, he kept something called ice milk. Don't even know if they still make that or not, but no ice cream was allowed in our house, but he bought ice milk. Like a half gallon of ice milk, and I can tell you it is not the same thing at all. It's not even close to the same thing. And we were not allowed to touch it. So while he was home, not allowed to touch it. While he was out of town, if there was any left, not allowed to touch it. But when we did sneak and get some of that, some of the icy, gross substitute for ice cream, it was just that. It was an icy, gross substitute. But, if you pour enough root beer on it or enough Coke on it, whatever, you can make it seem like it's something else. So my sister and I really felt deprived. We felt deprived of ice cream. I think if he had not put the ice milk in there, I don't know if we would have felt the same way, but we just did. So much so that we would sneak and eat the ice milk when he wasn't home. Okay, but then once a month, he would take us somewhere to get a small single serve, soft serve cone, and he would get one for me, one for my sister, and one for our beloved German Shepherd Dixie. So was it that special? I don't know, because I think he was getting it for the dog, and because we were in the car, we got some too. So don't get me wrong, I loved my dad, but that's kind of the guy, he was. So it was only fun. It was the only fun though that he really had with us when we were that age, but it felt less of a reward or less of something special and more like a once a month tease, and then we got left with that dang ice milk sitting in the freezer the rest of the time. Okay, so option 1 for me, I love ice cream, and I have this weird kind of, I don't know, feeling about it, like that it's a sin or whatever, I think just because of the way my dad treated it. But I do enjoy ice cream when we're out. So if we go somewhere special, like when we took the girls to Helen, Georgia, or when we go to Disney, or whatever, I can get a single scoop of ice cream, real ice cream, not that stinky ice milk, which I think is gone, but a single or even a double scoop of ice cream, because when it's gone, and it's always kind of geared around something special, so it's not, sneaking it in the back seat of an old station wagon and trying to eat it fast because the dog has already eaten hers and now she's looking at ours too. Okay, so that's one way that I enjoy ice cream. And then I always keep in the freezer, and I even have some at Casey's too, popsicles, or as Bo calls them, pop pop pops now. She says, I need pop pop pop. So it has to have at least 3 pops, pop pop pop. So popsicles like Outshine bars, you know, some kind of lower sugar or no sugar added popsicle like that. I'm not buying sugar laden popsicles for myself or for the girls, or something like Yasso frozen yogurt bars. I keep them in the freezer at work. I have them, this is from here at work, or I have them at home. Regular ice cream is like the kind that I would eat, is like 8 to 18 points per serving. These Yasso bars are like 3 to 5 points for one. And again, I can stop at 1, and this is a very creamy, it's a nice, you know, it's a nice texture. Okay, so that is the ice cream one. Okay, now on to the super secret one before I run us out of time. I'll admit it, I'm not perfect, okay? If we go through a drive-through, it is still hard for me not to eat some or all of the French fries. Okay, so French fries are my absolute, literal ride or die, okay? And sometimes, like yesterday, the girls had French fries. It is still hard for me not to eat some or all of them, even if they're not great, okay? I try not to. So I don't know why I have such a strange urge, desire, obsession with French fries, but I do. So option 1 for me is I tell myself that I will only eat absolutely hot, salty, and the best quality fries when I'm out. Don't always do it, but that's what I tell myself. These are mushy, don't eat them. These are, you know, whatever, don't eat them. They're not hot, don't eat them. But option number 2 for me is the secret in the air fryer. I have been obsessed with, as obsessed as I am with French fries, I have been as obsessed with making French fries in the air fryer. I'm telling you, the air fryer is an absolute lifesaver if you're like me and if French fries are your thing. It's the only way, the best way, the most delicious way to keep my personal obsession on my Weight Watchers plan, because I can have them when I want them. They're hot and ready. Like these are hot right now. I can still feel them. They're still hot. It's a lifesaver for me because and they're crispy, and I can make them salty if I want to, or not salty. I can add dips if I want to, whatever I want to do. They're hot. They're delicious. There's no deep fryer grease. There's no grease. Love them. Okay, this McDonald's container of French fries, they were greasy. I know because I ate a few of them. They were greasy, they were limp, they were not hot by the time I went in for the second time to find out where the heck part of our order was that we had mobile ordered and they never brought to us. You know, they just weren't that satisfying by the time we got them. But these are Orada extra crispy fries. Sometimes I do steak fries, sometimes I do, you know, just any kind of, you know, Orada. I just make sure that they don't have any extra seasoning or extra oil on them. And can you hear how crispy these are? So this size container from McDonald's was like, let me see how many points it was. It was 9 to 11 points from McDonald's. Okay, these are not McDonald's French fries. These are Orada out of the freezer, and I cooked them fresh in the air fryer with these thin, extra crispy ones. It was on 400 for 10 minutes, and I shook them at 5 minutes, even though no one reminded me at 5 minutes. But listen, this whole container, this is 6 points. Way better than McDonald's. So I can have this whole thing hot. I can make my own ranch dressing to dip them in. Absolutely fantastic. 6 points. 6 points for this whole thing. And they are hot, they are fresh, and I'm living life, okay? These are my ride or die. Okay, so what is your ride or die food? Does that make sense now on your homework? What I want you to do. So for me, my homework, my ride or die homework was to take, instead of getting gross, nasty, I'm already irritated because they wouldn't bring the food out, and we've got 2 children who are hungry in the car, McDonald's limp gross fries for 9 to 11 points, or to make my own Just heat them up in the air fryer. It took me 10, I did it while I was talking. Did you see that? 10 minutes. This is my ride or die, okay? So do your homework, do your homework, do your homework. I hope that makes sense now. I hope that y'all will try something, that you'll come up with some way to include it. Remember, and there are no forbidden foods. Nothing is off the list. You just have to be able to, you have to figure out how to make it fit in. And please, for goodness sake, make it fun, make it enjoyable, make it delicious. Don't be like me. Don't eat things that later you go, well, that wasn't very good. These are very good. So I hope y'all had a great night tonight. I hope that your team, whether it's Taylor Swift's boyfriend's team or whoever the other team is, I hope that they won. And I hope that Usher was great. Don't even know what he sings. But yeah, I hope y'all had a great time, and I hope you will watch this later on YouTube. If you're watching this on YouTube, let that next video go ahead and roll over. I promise you'll enjoy it. Please, please, please hit the subscribe button, and I will see you again next week. Good night. I'm going to go enjoy my 6 points worth of fresh French fries. Good night, everybody. I'll see you next week. Have a great week.